AWT slaying.
Well, family, the wait is over. The moment has arrived where truth emerges triumphant from the shadows of history. Introducing the true Jerusalem, the lost kingdoms of the Israelites, the groundbreaking work by me, Jacoby Vale, a journey into the past that reshapes the future. I cut through centuries of misconceptions with piercing clarity. This book delivers a compelling case packed with evidence that commands attention and gonna get some respect. Come with me for a second, family, and discover how these thrilling civilizations flourished, protected by towering highlands and sustained by advanced engineering. Some have asked, where is Jerusalem? Is it the land in the Middle East? I say no. It is in the highlands of Ethiopia. With hours of groundbreaking research, this book brings in a new revelation, and it will transform your understanding of African history and its connections to the ancient world. It's going to remove from your mind the conditioning by the Romans of what has really happened to our past. Come with me, family, to the Ethiopian highlands and find out why this is our land. Why things have been hidden and obfuscated for centuries. We are royalty, children of the Most High. What kind of land do you expect us to have? Dried up dirt in the Middle East, or land flowing with rivers? A land full of beautiful animals flowing with milk and honey. Don't miss out on this monumental unveiling. Grab your copy today and stand on the side of truth. Visit Amazon.com or www.tailministries.com to purchase your book and join Jacoby Vale's teachings on Tail Ministries. Family, your journey to a hidden history has now begun. So family, get your copy of True Jerusalem, the Lost Kingdoms of the Israelites today. Journey to the heart of Africa, where history and legend converge to reveal the forgotten kingdoms of the Israelites and the true location of Jerusalem. Shalom, my family. Shalom, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So I have a question. Based upon what you saw during the election, how many of you feel that everything you were told is the truth? Give me a 1 if you think it's the truth. Give me a 2 if you think it's false, or 3 if it's a mixture. Because, you know, what I find is when I look at our history and, you know, we've gone through the journey of uncovering our history, that a lot of the things that we have been told and they presented to us, a lot of times it has partial truths to it. Sometimes it's an outright lie. Sometimes it's mixed with, you know, falsities. Sometimes you're just being gaslighted. And one of the interesting things that, you know, it's just for me, because, you know, I'm a pattern type guy, right? I recognize patterns. And when you look at our history, you know, we all been through the history, you know, we know about Spain and Portugal. We know that, you know, we were the ones that they were deleting during the Inquisition. We know that they were chasing us from land to land, from country to country. right? We know that our people were already exiled. Some were already in Spain. We know about the Jacobites. We know that the Jacobites, many of them were of color. If you want to say they Negroes, they were Negroes, they were Israelites, right? We got all of this stuff that we've seen over the course of our investigation of our history. But what we fail to realize is that there's nuances to everything, right? And the enemy takes advantage of the fact that, first of all, our information comes from them, right? So secondly, that some of our people, right, are working for the enemy. Now, when I realized that the war, you know how they always say the war is in the mind, right? That is the true war. Because if we were able to come together, could they rule us? Could they really rule us? They couldn't, right? They couldn't rule us. I mean, we're faster, we're stronger, right? I'm like, we're smarter, right? But we're gullible. So Israel, the descendants of Jacob, the Negro, you black folks, descendants of slaves, are under a curse, which we know, Deuteronomy 28, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, but at the same time, we're under a spell because they never could have conquered us. They never could have conquered us if it was just effort alone. You know what I'm saying? They had to dilute us. They had to dilute us, and they're still doing it today. So spell casting, the use of words thought to be magic, especially in order to have an effect on someone. So words used to have an effect on someone. The old woman cast a spell on the prince and he turned into a frog. All right. So that's what they tell us in the movies and the cartoons. They cast a spell on you and turn you into a frog. No, it's the use of words, right, which they call magic, in order to have an effect on you. That's what it is, right? Down here it says, if something or someone casts their spell on you or casts a spell on you, you are fascinated or charmed by them. So you're under a charm, mind control. This is how they manipulate us and they play with us. Now, here's the difference, because we're going to go into a few things. And to be honest with you, I don't see any way out of it other than the Most High, right? Because the spell casting, the words used to control our mind, what they call magic, right? Some people say the English language is spells, and I don't disagree with that, right? Because language in itself is used to cast what? Spells. What? The use of words thought to be magic, especially in order to have an effect on someone. What? How does words have an effect on you? Your mind. Your mind. So we have a lot of information, and the enemy could not control all of the information, even for their own, right? They're not the Most High. They can't control every single thing. So you had people back in the days who were scholars, who were authors. They live in different countries under different laws, different rules. And they wrote books, and they wrote historical books. And they wrote books about geography, all these things that you could not control. So the information's there. The history is there. But what happens? They change your interpretation of the information. See, they make it where the Yahudim are white and not black. They change the information. They give you Christianity as opposed to giving you Torah, or following the way, which is based upon what they would call Yahudim tradition. They change the perception, though the information's there. They change your minds. They gaslight you. That's what we call it today. And they have continued to do so. So if you understand our history in the United States and really around the world, right? The dialectic, the misapplication of history, the half-truths, the gaslighting, not just by them folks, but by traitors within. And this is why we don't understand what happened and what's happening. And so like a lot of times, like if I come and say something, right, what usually happens, and it's for those who have not awakened, is this. When you truly awaken, you realize most everyone is a bot programmed to protect the matrix. And that's true. Almost everyone is a bot. And so if someone comes, just like in the movie The Matrix, and they tell you, hey, you need to wake up from the deception, or another way to phrase that, you need to wake up from being under a spell. You're under a spell. You're manipulated. They cast a spell on you. And that's one thing that our people are very susceptible to. Because spells are words spoken to manipulate your perception. So throughout history, we were told about certain things and certain events. But really, when you try to compare, or you compare it to what's happening today and what happened then, you start to see things a little differently, right? So a proxy war, armed conflict, proxy war, a military conflict in which one or more third parties directly or indirectly support one or more state or non-state combatants in an effort to influence the conflict's outcome and thereby to advance their own strategic interests or to undermine those of their opponents. Third parties in a proxy war do not participate in the actual fighting to any significant extent, if at all. Proxy wars enable major powers to avoid direct confrontation with each other as they compete for influence and resources. So what are they competing for? Influence and resources. Direct means of support by third parties consist of military aid and training, economic assistance, sometimes limited military operations with surrogate forces. Indirect means of support have included blockades, sanctions, trade embargoes, and other strategies designed to thwart a rival's ambitions. So you all would agree that we have been at war since we left Jerusalem in 70 AD. Yes or no? We've been in a war for over 2,000 years. The thing is that we're not very sophisticated. They are very sophisticated. And so when we wake up and we come to the truth, right, there's what? Another deception or another obstacle or another lie. One of them being is the idea of the proxy war, which is another deception. Now, I want you to look at things from a different perspective, right? I've been looking at things because the Bible says that we are in a strong delusion, and we are. We are. And there's no getting out of it unless it's the Most High. And I want you all to reevaluate the information that you're being fed from many different sources. All right, so the Ku Klux Klan, commonly shortened to the KKK or the Klan, is the name of an American white supremacist far-right terrorist organization and hate group. Various historians, including Fergus Bordewick, have characterized the Klan as America's first terrorist group. Now, that's true. It is America's first terrorist group. There have been 3 distinct iterations with various targets relative to time and place, including African Americans, them folks, and Catholics. All right. Why do I bring up the KKK? Because what was happening was a proxy war. So the KKK, as you know, right, you had a lot of government officials involved with the KKK. This was another proxy war against our people. Now, the reason why they had this proxy war, because, you know, they supposedly set us free, right, from slavery. That's what they tell us, right? That's another spell cast against your mind. Let me ask you this question before I go on. Give me a 1 if you think we were set free from slavery. Give me a 2 if you think we weren't. Because what's happening is it's the control of information and the control of the processing of information and the interpretation of that information, which keeps us in bondage. So we've been in a proxy war for a long, long time. And the KKK was another one that was run by the establishment. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The ones who make the rules, the ones who wrote the Constitution, the ones who make the laws, the ones who supposedly represent us in Washington. Those are the people who created this terrorist organization. And they created this terrorist organization as a means of proxy war against us. Why? Because you cannot have the quote unquote government, which is the legal institution, the ones who says everybody's equal and everyone's protected by the Constitution, attacking quote unquote their supposed citizens, which we were supposedly became when we, you know, were set free. So just like they do with ISIS over there in the Middle East, they did with the KKK here. The Christians, the Catholics, the Christian identity movement, right? The means of control of the warfare is the means of control of information and your perception of information. Can we say spells? Because spells controls your viewpoint and your perceptions. Spells control how you think. You are charmed. You're under a charm. You're under a deception, a strong what? Delusion. So you had the KKK, which was a proxy organization or a terrorist organization used as an indirect means of attack against us, as were or as is ISIS and some of the other groups we see today. So here we have Black Wall Street. Now, y'all know about Black Wall Street, right? How we had this prosperous community and, you know, we had our own banks and we had our own grocery stores and we had our own police force and we had all of this stuff run by black folks. But every time, and, you know, there's Rosewood, there's many other places that they tore down our cities because they became successful. But they blamed it on the KKK. They blamed it on these white supremacists, but really it was government backed. Why was it government backed? Because they had to control the slaves, right there. Look, if the slaves had their own banks, they had their own means of supplying food, supplying shelter, controlling their own laws, in the end, you would end up having a separate nation within a nation. They couldn't allow that. So we've been at war, and the KKK were used as a proxy to destroy Black Wall Street to destroy Rosewood and all of the other successful black cities around the world, around the United States. So black folks were building up their own power base. That's what they call it, black folks, Negroes, the N-word, whatever you want to. The KKK was used to reduce our means of self-sufficiency. So then we had another spell that was casted on us, right? Magic, manipulation of your mind. As in Star Wars, these aren't the droids you're looking for. And guess what? Our people still easily manipulated today. You can't tell them nothing because they think they know everything. The civil rights movement. So they come in and say, you know what? We want to get along. And so they hire somebody like Martin Luther. Martin Luther was a Freemason. Come on. I think he changed his position toward the end. I don't think he really knew what he was doing because he said later on, I think I integrated my people into a burning house. Why? Because I think he realized what was happening. That our people were used to integrate into their system. So I can now shop at the white man's store. I don't have a Black Wall Street anymore. I can get my groceries from the white man now. I don't have my own grocery store no more. I can buy my cars from the white man now. I can do all these things because guess what? The white man accepts me now. I'm an American citizen now. I can pay my taxes now. Where before we weren't included, where before we were excluded. Why? Because now we're controlled. It was a sophisticated psyop. The civil rights movement was a sophisticated psyop to get us into their system so that they can control us and have us voting Democrats for 200 years. Everything's a psyop. And we've been at war and it's been through proxies that we are attacked. We're still hung from trees today, but guess what? They don't do nothing, do they? We're hung from trees today, but they don't do nothing. He committed deletion himself. Why is that? Because it's backed by the powers that be. Come on, I can't talk about it too much. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's backed by the powers that be. Look, if you come to my house, and every time you come to my house, I spray you with water, and I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spray you with water. They say, okay, I forgive you. But every time you come to my house, I spray you with water. It has to be that I want to spray you with water because I don't want you coming to my house, right? At some point, if I'm allowed them to keep hanging you from trees and pew-pewing you in the streets, then I back it, right? But then when you say, hey, maybe they're doing this on purpose and maybe I'm not a citizen and maybe we are still slaves and maybe we should pull out the system, then guess what? Somebody's deleted. They're going to delete your leaders, right? A messianic figure, COINTELPRO. A messiah figure, black messiah, right? I'm just saying. It's bad. It's bad. Because not only are you fighting them folks, you're fighting your folks. Not only are you fighting the enemy, you're fighting the supposed allies because your people have been taken over, manipulated, brainwashed, and bought off by money, by paper money, which has no value. They sell out their people for paper dollars. Why? Because they're brainwashed as well. Why? Because they're living in the same system you're living in, and they are giving benefits for betraying you. So once again, they're going to keep you under the spell. And what happens when you're under the spell? You can never unite. You will never unite. It's not going to happen. We see it already in the Israelite community, and we're awakened, most of us. So what they do, and look, what they do usually has a logic to it. And some people who are part of the conspiracy and part of the manipulation are, guess what? Thinking that they're doing God a service, right? Some black folks think they on the right side of life. Some Israelites think this is how I grew up. This is what they taught me. This is all I know. I'm an American citizen. That's how they believe, right? I'm an American citizen, so I got to do these things and help America and all this stuff. But while America hates you, because every time you come to America's house, America sprays you with water. And so at some point you say, maybe America doesn't want me to come by their house, right? Is that not logical? If every time I come by your house, you spray me with water, maybe I've come to the conclusion that America doesn't want me by their house. I mean, that's the logical conclusion, yes or no? Maybe you don't love me like you say you do. How come every time I come over there, you fussing, you cussing, you hating, but you tell me you love me, but you don't show me you love me? Why? Because you're either a bot, on automatic, or you're an agent. And I'm going to tell you, shows like these can get you in trouble. Just like when you see people who are successful entertainers, successful politicians who happen to be black and they want to help their people, what happens to them, y'all? You either go into jail or you're going to be deleted. Oh, yeah, I've seen it hundreds and hundreds of times. You either go into jail, they're going to get you for something, or you're going to be deleted. The closest people that has the closest opportunity, or let's say the best opportunity to awaken from this matrix, is the Israelites. Because we have another input. We have another program. You watch TV and you get programmed. But the Israelites have a different programming, right? We are reprogramming our mind. What? By the washing of the water of the word. That's what it is. We put in our mind what Father Yah says. We put in our minds what the word says, the promises, the blessings, and the curses. The Israelites have the best opportunity to wake up, but guess what? The Israelites have been infiltrated as well. That's why some things don't make sense. You'd be like, how do you get from A to B? How do you believe in the sealed portions? How do you believe in Mormonism, right? It's that spell. Because some people have been bought off. Some people have been manipulated. Some people are bots. So what happens when the mind is under the spell? You're charmed. What happens? And you could think you're on the right side, because I'm not sure everyone has, let's say bad motives, but they're still part of the matrix. One of them being foundational Black Americans. Now, FBA sounds good. And when it comes down to getting reparations, it makes sense. It should be those who are foundational Black Americans, right? But guess what? What is a foundational Black American? Because everybody has a different opinion. Some people think we're Native American Indians. Some people have different understandings of historical context. Some people think we were here already. Some people think this is our land. Why? Because they've been put under a spell. They've been brainwashed. Because as I stated, the information's there. The information's there. But it's your interpretation of that information. See, they couldn't get rid of all of the information. They could not hide all of the history, so they had to reinterpret the history for you. But those of us who dig and dig and dig and continue to dig, we say they're full of it. But why are some of these people foundational Black Americans? Like, for instance, Tariq Nasheed. Smart brother. He knows that we Israelites, as a matter of fact, he was on a show with an Israelite, a camp member. But there's two things they have in common. Division. How come Tariq, knowing that there were Black Israelites, because he said it, how come he don't identify as an Israelite? How come he created his own category of foundational Black America? Why? To cause division. Some of these people are paid agents. And their job is to cause confusion, and you can see the fruits of it, which is why we can never unite. One of the things that I find interesting, well, I'll get to that later. But let's look at this video right here because, you know, this is one of the issues of being what they call in the matrix, what they call being brainwashed, what they call being under a spell, which is the whole idea of the American Negro is the American Indian.
Black Lives Matter has nothing to do with the original Black American Indians. Black Lives Matter is a propaganda to keep blacks thinking that they're African Americans that came on slave ships. We already know we are waking our people up to let them know that we are the American Indigenous Indians. Black Lives Matter do not represent our people. We do. Jesse Jackson do not represent our people. Barack Obama do not represent our people. We're not African Americans. We're indigenous. Our African American is Obama. Why? Because his mother's European and his father's Kenyan. That's an African American. A real Indian, American Indian is me. Both of my parents are American Indians, not from Africa.
What? Okay, so here we have an example of circular reasoning. She makes a claim, then goes on to say words that have nothing whatsoever to do with the claim that she's making, and then she just restates the claim as if naming various people that she doesn't believe represents black folks has somehow proven her claim. Let's keep going.
That's why y'all look at me funny. Like, I'm African. Like, you're not though. Like you're not. 80% of our slaves was already here. It was natives. It's crazy.
80. Where you get that number from?
No. Shit, I just checked the books.
Which book?
Yeah. I got a whole laptop full of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, just for me reading. It's not a solid book like, hey, only 1,000 slaves came here. And no, you gotta read. You have what?
Okay, so That's a common tool of the conspiracy theorists, from flat earthers to moon hoax deniers. Black people are the original inhabitants of the Americas. Do your research. No, you're the one making the claim, so you're the one who bears the burden of providing the evidence to support the claim. Otherwise, that which is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. Let's keep going.
People don't understand. Black people did not just come from Africa. Black people were already in the States. People don't know that, though. They don't get that part. You know, they don't know that Nat Turner was really an Aborigine. That ain't African. You can look at Nat Turner and the depictions of him and know he was an Aborigine. Yeah, what?
Okay, so this is kind of baffling to me. What is your criteria for saying that he looks indigenous? If you're saying that he looks black, then that's circular reasoning. If you're saying that he looks Native American, then basically you're acknowledging that black people and Native American are visually distinct from one another. In any case, what something looks like isn't necessarily proof of what it is. That's an appeal to common sense. Common sense or not, you have to actually demonstrate it. What is your method for demonstrating that something is what it appears to be? Let's see what else he has to say.
Different vibe about it. So, people don't really know that. Not all black people did not come from freaking Africa. Because it's going to be very, very difficult for you to make it in that goddamn ship at the bottom of that goddamn ship for 3 months. When the food get low. Do the math. For real. Do the motherfucking math. Seriously, and just ushering everybody in on boats the long goddamn way. They not stopping. Ain't no bathrooms on that mother. Come on, man. What?
Okay, so here we have an argument from incredulity. Actually, I have done the math. According to most reliable estimates, about 2 million died on the Middle Passage over the course of nearly 4 centuries. That doesn't take into account those that died on the way to the coast even before they got to the slave ships, and nor does it take into account the heavy toll that the seasoning process extracted on the survivors of the Middle Passage. I have a video on the Middle Passage that explores that in more detail, but to deny that great disaster puts him on the same level as Holocaust deniers. So I think I'm done with this guy. In short, personal incredulity isn't proof of anything. He basically goes on to say the same thing, only louder and without evidence other than his own personal incredulity. So let's add circular reasoning to this one.
Can I just end with this one thing? These 4 brothers sitting here, we didn't all come from Africa. And there was there was a country before 1492, and our history goes way beyond 1492. So you can't start us at 1492. We were always here. We were always here.
What?
Let me pause it there for a second. One of the things you'll notice is all of these statements with no evidence, no historical backing. They bring out books like, Sanford, right? Lost Tribes of Promised Land. They bring out all these books and take it out of context, right? It is so frustrating for us who go back and do the research and validate it or invalidate what they say, right? And then for people to keep regurgitating the talking points, right? That is being under a spell.
So this clip has been making the rounds with folks who are supporting claims about blacks being the original inhabitants of the Americas. That sentence was just tacked on to a 12 or so minute video, and the rest of the video has nothing whatsoever to do with that claim. So, and he doesn't go into, we don't know the context, he doesn't go into depth about what he means in that statement. You can actually check out the entire video linked below in the description, but unless we can find something more extensive where he expands on that, and I've looked, he hasn't said anything more about it, this would be an example of quote mining.
If you want to talk about indigenous people in America or Native American, race. They always dealt with extraterrestrials. They called them the star people. And yes, they were black. This is where the word Indian comes from the Latin word indigo, okay, which means blue black, and it's a skin color.
What?
Wrong. India gets its name from the people originating from around the Indus River. The word indigo shares the same root because the dark blue dye that gives indigo its color was imported originally into Europe from India. It has nothing whatsoever to do with skin color. That is just flat wrong.
Okay? And so the Indians that you see today are what you call $5 Indians, okay, which are Caucasians, actually white people, okay? And go look up the Dow's Commission, go read the Dow's rolls. Back in the day, white people was allowing other white people to sign the Dow's rolls, saying that they was Native Americans in exchange for benefits and assistance from the government.
What?
Okay, so that's sort of true, although the particulars aren't quite as he describes them. The Dawes Act of 1887 led to the wholesale breakup of indigenous land. The way that happened, though, was that the act required allotment of native land to be based on private ownership, as opposed to collective communal ownership, which was generally the way that land was traditionally held among native people. Under the act, any land that wasn't personally allotted was considered surplus lands that could be sold. That was one of the ways that native land was transferred to white ownership. As a result, native people lost about 100 million acres of their land, or about 2/3 of the land base that they held in 1887 when the Dawes Act was passed.
So if you notice, young Pharaoh, this guy right here, he's Kemet, right? And he doesn't recognize his Israelite descent. Now, if you pay close attention to the timing of foundational Black America and this whole Native American Indian thing, and America's our land, most of this happened during the time when the awakening really started taking off around 2014-15, right? And that's when these guys start popping up, right? All of a sudden. Why? To counteract or try to counteract the awakening. So like, for instance, I was recently on Sister E's channel, and they had this one camp member come on there. And he was mad at me because I said something about camps. And so I mentioned that, about camps and how they don't follow, they believe Yeshua is Joseph's son. And, he said, well, I believe he's divine or whatever, right? And then I asked him about the Native American Indian thing. And he said, well, what you don't understand is that we will hear the same talking points as young Pharaoh. Right. He said, see, in such and such book, they even referred to the Indians as Negroes. Why would they refer to them as Negroes? I'm like, OK, well, go read the books. The books tell you that they were trying to use the classification of Negroes for the Indians so that they can apply the slave laws to the Indians. That's why they called them Negroes, not that they were Negroes. And this is the problem with our people, right? They latch on to something, they see something, but they never validate, right? They never validate.
So all these Indians that own these casinos and own the land, and they got straight hair, and they look like goddamn Mexicans.
Let me pause right here for a second, family. Teo, you are extremely intelligent, except when you choose not to be. Yeah, because I don't agree with you. You just said I'm intelligent, but when I disagree with you, I'm not intelligent. Make it make sense. See, this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with the foolishness of the people with the lack of education, right? Who don't be like Bereans and go and validate if what they say is true. Why? Because they believe they're Native American Indians. Foolishness.
And Chinese people and white people, those are what you call $5 Indians. Those are descendants of the people who actually took the land and they acted like they was the people who the land got took from. Black people are the original Indians.
What?
I'll take composition fallacy with a side order of circular reasoning, please. A composition fallacy is when someone infers that something is true of the whole based on the fact that it's true of some part of the whole. Some non-indigenous people gain control of indigenous land, therefore non-indigenous people control indigenous land. No, that's not how logic works. He follows that with some circular reasoning, just restating without evidence that black people are the original Native Americans.
Godfrey, real quick. You know, as a full Nigerian, have you ever heard an oral tradition like, don't go out by the river at night because you can get jumped by the white man and he'll bring you on a boat across the water?
I never heard any of that. All I heard, like my father would tell me stories, just Nigerian proverbs and stuff that relate to just Africa.
What?
Here we have another argument from incredulity. I've never heard of this, therefore how could it be true?
Have you heard of a story? Pick one, any story of a war that took place where some of your kinfolk was captured and brought over to another landmass?
No.
What?
Yet another argument from incredulity. Not only do we have multiple first-hand accounts confirming that the Middle Passage took place, at least 2 African nations have apologized for their role in the Atlantic slave trade. In 1999, the president of Benin apologized for his nation's role in the slave trade, and in 2006, Ghana apologized to African American descendants of slaves. So there we have it.
So we have evidence like Olaola Aquilano and his story of how he got here. But guess what? Have you ever seen a slave ship? I can't find no slave ships. Oh, the history that they gave us is wrong. Oh, all of the information that they have on the slavevoyages.org website is wrong, right? It's foolishness. I mean, you have receipts, you have transactions, you have historical documents from people who are not in the government. You have regular folks who were there, right? I'm like, it just don't make sense. You have recordings of people who were former slaves and how they got here. I'm like, y'all need to stop it. But this is the spell. It is the matrix. Is people who are bots in the matrix spewing and regurgitating falsehoods. Why? Because it causes division. It causes division. And we will never, ever, ever unite under these conditions. And that's why when people be trying to tell us we need to get together, how can 2 walk together? At least they agree. The same thing goes with the 12 tribes chart. They started this mess. Native American Indians is us. How in the heck Negroes and these Hispanics, Native American Indians are us? How can it be? Oh, well, phenotype don't matter. When did phenotype never matter? Let me see your wife. She a Negro and you a Negro, but your wife's baby come out with blonde hair, blue eyes, and tell me phenotype don't matter. Are there aberrations? Yes. Every now and then, you're going to have 2 black parents and the kid going to come out albino or something. But we're under a spell. And our own people are being used against us, to manipulate us, to control our understanding and application of information. So one of the other things that happens when we're under a spell is that they tell us that black folks commit the most crimes. That's what they tell us. Black folks commit the most crimes. And guess what? We eat it up because they give us the stats. But that's impossible. It's literally impossible for us to commit the most crimes because they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be now. They're supposed to be. They tell us. They're supposed to be the majority. We're the minority. But we commit the most crime. But we believe that stuff, right? It's called brainwashing. They tell us black Americans make up 13% of the U.S. population. 23% of these deaths. You believe that? We've been 13% of the population for 400 years. We ain't grow. We didn't reproduce. We killing our babies off like that. Y'all believe that? We've been 13% forever. Don't make no sense. But yet, the white population is in decline. But we still 13% of the population. But they're in decline. You believe that? It's lies. It don't make common sense. I told you, one thing that's not common is common sense. Common sense is not common. Our people believe anything. Well, you know, Grandma told me we Cherokee. Grandma told me we Native American Indians. Yeah, but Grandma ain't tell you that you was a slave. The Cherokee slaves. And you got mixed up in there when they let you go after they forced the Indians to let you go, because the Indians weren't going to let you go even after they supposedly passed the amendment to make you free. How come y'all ignore that history? How come you ignore the history that the so-called African Americans, the Negroes, the slaves, the N-words, were slaves to the Cherokee? And then y'all want to say, well, Grandma and Grandpa say I'm Seminole. You know what? We all were told we were Seminoles. You know why? Because Seminoles was a new tribe of the Cherokees who wanted to fight the white man and the runaway slaves. And they formed a new group called the Seminoles. And they hung out together, but they weren't the same people. But y'all want to act like we can't read. Y'all tell us what you want. Why? Because y'all want to control the narrative. Why? Because y'all want to put us under the same spell that the white man put you under. Why? Because some of y'all also are paid agents. Paid agents. Negroes, black folks, Israelites. Why do you think the camps keep pushing Native American Indians are Israelites? Latinos are Israelites. But we don't look alike. Don't have no DNA connection. We don't look like we cousins, but we the same, and y'all believe that foolishness? Oh, phenotype don't matter. Well, you got to tell yourself that, because we obviously don't look alike. So why do they do that? Why they keep pushing that? Why they keep pushing that the Native American Indians is us, that the Latinos are us? Why they keep pushing that? It's to cause confusion. Have you noticed the rest of those people not joining us? Them Latinos and Mexicans ain't joining us. You probably ain't even got close to 0.5% of them people who waking up to be in Israel. But yet there's an awakening of black folks. There's an awakening of Negroes. So what's the purpose of it? To cause confusion, discord, deception. So we won't unite. Because guess what? You got to have the same ideas and the same goals to unite. My goal is to help liberate black folks around the world. Well, guess what? Latinos don't care about that because they're not us. Mexicans don't care about that because they're not us. It's a spell. It's a psyop, and too many of us is on it. Too many of us are under the spell. Well, many of us are bots in the matrix. And some of these bots are paid agents. Can we say Agent Smith? Agent Smith was everywhere. Everybody was an Agent Smith. Young black and Latino men say they chose Trump because of the economy and jobs. Here's how and why. Now, here's another one. They say all of these black men supported Trump. So the black women, what do they say? No more sex for y'all. We hate black men. But guess what? I guarantee you could count on one hand the number of black men that went out and voted for Trump. It's all lies. It's all lies to cause division. You can't prove that a whole bunch. You had some black folks vote for Trump. But you want to know what happened, in my opinion? Just my opinion. Most black folks stayed home. Most black folks didn't vote for nobody. Most Negroes ain't vote for Democrats, didn't vote for Republicans. Most black folks said, I'm sitting this election out. But they want to make the black man look like he the enemy. Why? To cause division between the black man and the black woman. That's what they're doing. I guarantee you most black folks stay at home. But they tell us, oh, all of these black men voted for Trump and put Trump in the office. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You could barely get black folks to go to a Christian church, let alone to go to the polls to vote for Trump. Come on now. Come on. But you can get them women out there now. They'll vote because why? They're emotional. I'm not saying all y'all family. Don't get mad at me. But a lot of y'all got scared. Oh, we can't have Trump in office. I got to go vote for Kamala because she's a black woman. Though she don't care about us, she's not going to vote for us. I'm not going to do anything for black folks alone. No. But you want black men to vote for Kamala. I guarantee you most black men stood home. All of this is psyop. All of this is a spell. And this is why we can never get together. This is why we can never unite. Because we got paid informants working amongst us. We got paid informants who are Israelites. We got paid informants who are in the Christian church. We got paid informants who are in the Muslim church, or whatever you call Islam. It's all a con. Here's another thing they keep pushing. Black folks is the face of this. Black women are the face of this. Black men are the face of this. But we still not the majority of this. Why? And the ones who are, once again, they're under a spell. Once again, they have been brainwashed. Once again, they've been used and abused and manipulated. This is why I understand there is no getting out of this without the Most High. He's the only one that can deliver us because we are slaves in our heads. They got us slaves in our minds because we still part of the system. Most black men are willing to pull out of the system. But the women, a lot of them, once they're a part of the system, not all y'all. I might have to say that so y'all don't come after me. So this is another psyop, another conditioning, another spell. I put a spell on you. I know y'all don't want to hear this one. I know y'all don't want to hear this one. Interracial marriages face pushback 50 years after love. And this is another psyop against the black community. Why? What does it do? What does interracial marriage do? It causes what? Division. Though she may love him and he may love her, guess what? She don't care about black rights. She don't care about reparations. She don't care about us getting free from oppression and that there's equality. She's never going to care about the fact that we still oppress and we are a minority. Why? Because she's the majority. It's called white supremacy. It's another spell cast on the black man and the black woman to cause us division, to separate us. So we won't love each other and reproduce. What? What is the problem here, according to the government? What is the problem here, according to Pharaoh? Oh, they reproducing too much. We got to stop these Israelites from reproducing. So what did Pharaoh do? Go get all of the males and try to drown them. What did they do today? Get all of the males and put them in prison. Get the males and the females to marry other folks. Why? Because then there would be no more Israelites. I ain't hating on you. Personally, I don't care what you do. You marry who you want. I'm just saying you under a spell. They cast a spell on you. It's called witchcraft. It's called a psyop. It's called psychological manipulation. And no matter how much we wake up and we say we Israel, we ain't gonna never come together. Why? Because we got different agendas. We got different agendas. We got camps telling you one thing. We got what they call moderates telling you another thing. We got the Christian church telling you another thing. You got Israelites saying we Native American Indians and Mexicans. You don't have nothing that's consistent and foundational. Nothing that's consistent and foundational. Nothing. Half truths here, half truths there. Things that doesn't make sense. Because common sense not common. We're under spell. But what we see playing out is the curses, right? Deuteronomy 28:32, your sons and daughters will be given to another nation, and you will wear out your eyes watching for them day by day after day, powerless to lift a hand. So we've been under a curse for a long time, and we still under the curses because they're still happening in different forms. All right, so they took our sons, they took our daughters from us, they put us into captivity, right? They're taking your sons and daughters today and putting them in prison. They're taking your sons and daughters today and separating them from your own community, and you no longer identify as a Negro. So now you just say colored person. Now you don't care, and we can't unite on nothing. I told you, I'm old enough to know when black folks, my parents' new generation, was still fighting for the black causes, right? That whole Martin Luther King era and wanting rights and fighting. Who was the enemy? We knew who the enemy was. We don't know who the enemy is no more. We knew who the enemy was, but now everybody the same. Everybody American citizen. Bull crap. We ain't the same. The laws don't apply the same. The enforcement of the laws aren't the same. The protection of the laws aren't the same. We not the same. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. We're under a spell. Everybody's a bot. Everybody's a bot. Only the Most High can save us. Deuteronomy 28:41, you will have sons and daughters, but you will not keep them because they will go into captivity. They still going into captivity. They still going to prison. Because black folks to face a crime. But guess what? Black folks don't benefit from the crime. White folks benefit from the crime. They got multi-billion-dollar corporations. They run nations. They run states, city, governments. Black folks commit crimes. Not only are they going to put you in jail, they're going to take the money you got. They're going to take the money from you that you stole. I don't take no Geritol up, Nick. I ain't that old. I'm old, but I ain't that old, bro. That might be yours. I don't take no Geritol, bro. Now, I might go drink me some tea. I might drink me some green tea, some chamomile tea, but you keep that for yourself. But anyway, Deuteronomy 28:33, a people that you do not know will eat what your land and labor produce, and you will have nothing but cruel oppression all your days. Now, Black Wall Street, right? And all of the other places that they took from us. I guarantee you this, but you probably, you can't see it in scriptures, but I guarantee you during the time that they conquered Jerusalem in 70 AD, I guarantee you there were traitors in the midst. Hey, Pharaoh. Hey, Caesar. Now's a good time to invade. This is the perfect time to come and invade and take over Jerusalem and take your slaves. But give me my money, Judas. You know why black folks are crabs in the barrel? You know why we say black folks are crabs in the barrel? Because we under a spell. You know why black folks can't unite? Because we under a spell. Strong social engineering, psyop, mental conditioning, and we will never unite. Why? Because y'all gonna say stuff like, yeah, Yacoba said this, Yacoba said that, Yacoba's arrogant, Yacoba this, Yacoba that. No, Yacoba tells you the truth. I see our people being played. I keep telling y'all that. I told y'all I'm here for the Most High and I'm here for my people. What I'm talking about today is very dangerous because this is one of the things that they want to protect the most. And if this get taken down, don't forget you could go over to Rumble and listen to it. But you know I'm telling the truth. Deuteronomy 28:30, you will be pledged to be married to a woman, but another will take her and grape her. You will build a house, but you will not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruit. Is that not still happening today? It's just happening differently. You pledge to be married to a woman and, you know, somebody else come along. Now today they're going to seduce her with money. You will build a house. Today you're going to build a house. You pay for it and they're going to take it from you because the HOA. They're going to take it from you because you ain't pay your taxes. You're going to build a house, but you ain't going to live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but you will not even begin to enjoy its fruits. Even today, you try to build a company, but you can't enjoy the fruits of the company because they're not going to let your company grow. I'm just saying the same curses here, but in different forms. Why? Because we have always been under mind control. We have always been under the spell. We always been under witchcraft. And guess who the biggest perpetrators of this spell casting? Our own people. Because our people don't listen to the white man. Not all of us anyway. Some of us do. Most of us listen to people like Tariq Nasheed, and I'm not saying Tariq is a bad guy, and I'm not saying that some of the stuff that he's talking about doesn't have validation. But what I'm saying is what Tariq Nasheed talks about doesn't gain anything. Because to be honest with you, the whole argument is for black folks to be set free and let us rule ourselves and give us our reparations and cut us our check. I'm just saying. I don't care if you came from Nigeria. I don't care if you came from the islands. I understand his point. But what I'm saying is it's just another means of division. We're never going to come together. We're never going to unite. And so when the Africans come over here, they say, see, y'all been poor all this time. We come over here and we succeed. I understand. But the reason they succeed is because they succeeding on our backs. They're succeeding on the back of our ancestors. They're succeeding on the back of our protests. And guess what? The same things that are being applied to us is not being applied to them because we're foundational black Americans, as he states. But with being foundational black America, that causes what? Division. And this is why Tariq don't never say he an Israelite. Why? Because if you say you're Israelite, that's going to bring a point of unity. We are the same people. We are Yahudim. We're Judah. That brings 1 point of unity. It brings us to unite under the Messiah. It brings us to unite under Yahuwah. But see, if you say we're foundational black America, division. We're Native American Indians and Latinos, division. We believe in the sealed portions, division. We believe in Druidism, division. We ain't gonna never unite. Not without the Most High. Psalm 106, 35 to 36. But they mingled with the nations and adopted their customs. They worshiped their idols, which became a snare to them. Is that not us? We mingled with the nations and adopted their customs. Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, no feast days. We worship idols. Can we say white Jesus, not Yahuwah, not Yeshua of the scriptures? It became a snare to us. We'll never unite. Half of us don't know who we are. Half of us don't care. Some think they're binaries. It's confusion. There's no getting out of this because they got you in the mind. That's why I say, don't tell me to unite with people I don't agree with. Don't be trying to fix stuff that's broken. Only the Most High gonna fix it. Everybody got different agendas. Some people don't want the truth out. Some people want half-truths out. Why? Because if you don't speak the truth, right, you can control people. When you tell half-truths, you control people. When you tell lies, you control people. When you tell the truth, people get set free. Everybody don't have the same agendas. Jeremiah 9:6, you live in the midst of deception. In their deceit, they refuse to acknowledge me, declares Yahuwah. You live in the midst of deception. You're under a spell. Yahuwah's going to send what? A strong delusion that what? They believe a lie. We're all under a spell, and you have to dig your way out and find the truth. You have to dig your way and crawl your way to the truth and say, this is false. This is false, but thy word is truth. That's one thing I can validate, that the word is true. Are there some issues there in the translations? Yes, but the word is true. You live in the midst of deception. Jeremiah 10:2-3. This is what Yahuwah says. Do not learn the ways of the nations or be terrified by signs in heavens, though the nations are terrified by them, for the practices of the people are worthless. They cut a tree out of the forest and a craftsman shapes it with his chisel. All right. We all know what that is. Christmas tree. Do not learn the ways of the nation, but we learn them. We still do them. And we want them to be us, and we want to be them. Isaiah 30:1-2. Woe to the obstinate children, declares Yahuwah, to those who carry out plans that are not mine, forming an alliance, but not by my spirit, heaping sin upon sin, who go down to Egypt without consulting me, who look for help to Pharaoh's protection, to Egypt's shade for refuge. Let me read that a different way for you. Woe to the obstinate children, you stiff-necked, hard-headed Israelites, declares Yahuwah. To those who carry out plans that are not mine, you got your own plans. You want to unite us with Mexicans. You want to unite us with Native American Indians. You want to unite us with Latinos. Woe to those who carry out plans they have. It's not my plan. Woe to those who carry out plans trying to force me to vote for the Republicans or the Democrats. Woe to those who carry out plans trying to form alliances with our enemies, but not by my spirit, heaping sin upon sin. Why? Because y'all for the alphabets. Y'all going along with the nations. Woe to you. Woe to you who go to the government. Can we say Egypt? Woe to you who go to the government without consulting me, who look to the governors and the presidents and the representatives and the senators. Woe to you who look to Pharaoh for protection, who try to take your refuge in the government. Oh, if Trump becomes president, what are we going to do? Oh, if Kamala becomes president, she's going to destroy the nation. What's that got to do with us? We're a separate nation. We're called out. We're the ecclesia. We're for the Yah's unique possession. You have I chosen of all the people of the world, of all the nations, for myself. He separated the nations according to the B'nai Ha Elohim, but Israel is his own unique possession. He kept for himself. What do they got to do with us? What does the elections got to do with us? What do their alphabets got to do with us? Revelation 18:23, the light of a lamp will never shine in you again. The voice of the bridegroom and bride will never be heard in you again. Your merchants were the world's important people. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. You're under a spell. I put a spell on you. By your magic spell, all the nations were led astray. Everybody's under a spell. Israelites are under a spell. Gentiles are under a spell. A strong delusion was sent into the world. And there is literally no getting out of it because we've been compromised. We got Agent Smiths living amongst us who say they're Israelites. We got Agent Smiths living amongst us who say they're Christians. We got Agent Smiths living among us who say they Muslims. Whatever you want, with all the religions and stuff that black folks are a part of, you have agents in there. Oh, I'm here for you. Let me teach you something new. Let me teach you the word of Yahuwah. Let me teach you the word of God. Let me tell you what's going on. Let me tell you about the sealed portions. Let me tell you about Druidism. Let me tell you about witchcraft. Let me tell you about the occult. Let me tell you about voodoo. Let me tell you about all these things. That's ours. That's ours. They stole it from us. Not telling you that's the reason many of us went into captivity. Ezekiel 20:32. You say we want to be like the nations, like the peoples of the world who serve wood and stone, but what you have in mind will never happen. See, y'all want to be like the nation. Y'all want to be Mexicans and Latinos and Caucasians. You want to marry them and have babies with them and say it's okay because they us. Y'all think we stupid. Y'all tell us we the same people, but we ain't got the same phenotype. We don't have the same DNA markers or whatever. Not that I believe in all that old foolish science. I think there's some validity to DNA, but I think most people don't know what the heck they talking about. But you want to be like the nations. Second Thessalonians 2:10-11, and all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so to be saved. For this reason, Yahuwah sends them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. Can we say witchcraft? Can we say a spell? Most people ain't going to make it because the deception is too strong. And when people come to tell you the truth, they get castigated. They get crucified. They get beat up. They get videos done against them. And the gullible follow their pernicious ways. Isaiah 61:7, instead of your shame, you will receive a double portion, and instead of disgrace, you will rejoice in your inheritance. And so you will inherit a double portion in your land, and everlasting joy will be yours. The only way for us to get these blessings, the only way for us to get the double portion, the only way for us to get our inheritance is to separate. You were called out from amongst them, and be ye what? Separate. You were called to be a unique chosen people for Yahuwah. Supposed to be like the nations. You thought you was going to be like the nations. You thought you was going to worship their God, but the Most High said that was never going to happen. They tell us we commit most of the crime, but we don't. They tell us we're 13% of the population, but we're more. They tell us we never built any major kingdoms, but we did. We've seen the history. They tell us we've been here in America. That's the new talking points, right? That we are Americans. This is our homeland. This is Jerusalem. This is all this foolishness. But they think we stupid. Oh, because we were black. Well, the whole world was black. They make black being synonymous with Negro. They make black being synonymous with Israelites. It is not. Well, Jacoba, you're intelligent, but I'm either intelligent or I'm not. One thing for sure, Jacoba is truthful. And you know what? You're going to keep being a bot. You're going to keep teaching the lies of the colonizer. You're going to keep teaching the lies of your camp mores. We Native American Indians, this is our homeland. But at the same time, the camps say, some of them, we from Africa. At the same time, some of the camps go over to Africa and say, you know, you're Israel. At the same time, they go over there and say, look at the traditions of the Israelites. Look at the history of the Africans. Look at the history that shows where the true Israelites. But then we Native American Indians and we Mexicans. Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. I ain't stupid. I'm not stupid. Somebody got to wake you out of your sleep. Mama ain't raised no fools. Because guess what? Jacoba is intelligent. Nobody has to tell me that. I know it already. You ain't got to tell me I'm intelligent. I know it. When you are truly awake and you realize most everyone is a bot programmed to protect the matrix, Israelites, Gentiles alike. When you challenge them on their history, they come up with foolishness, and then when you show something contrary to it, they act like you didn't say anything. When you dissect and remove the lies and show them it's a lie, they ignore you. Why? To perpetuate the lie. Why? To cause deception. Why? To deceive us. Why? To cause division, so that the Israelites will never come together and never shake off the shackles of the colonizer, to never shake off the shackles of the enemies of our nation, because they're not enemies no more, because we're all American citizens, mind you. White folks love us now. They don't hate black folks. There's no racism. That's what they tell us. Ain't no racism. We're all American citizens. And we fall for it. And we believe the lies, not realizing that many of these people are agents, paid agents, to keep us deceived. Remember when they used to tell us over on certain channels that there were no black Jews and there were no black Jews in Africa. And if there were Jews in Africa, they were white. Y'all remember that conversation? Nowadays, some of y'all were Israelites, and maybe some of y'all on the ships were Israelites, but it was only a small percentage of y'all that was on them ships that were Israelites. Even though now we admit that some of the Israelites were Africans and on that ship, but all of y'all were not Israelites, though they went to the west coast in the kingdom of Judah and took y'all from Judah, took y'all from the west coast of Africa. But guess what? Most of us ain't Israel. Somebody make it make sense. Somebody make it make sense. That's called gaslight. That's called deception. That's called a spell. I put a spell on you. Some stuff just don't make sense, and y'all don't use your common sense that the Most High gave you. And some of y'all gonna be mad at me because I didn't destroy your delusion. Some of y'all gonna be mad at me because you were comfortable in your deception. Some of y'all gonna be mad at me because you don't like the truth. That's not my problem. I got thick skin. Some people want the truth. Some people tired of living in deception. Some people want to be free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall what? Make you free. Some of y'all want to keep us in the captivity. Because so long as we believe a lie, we're going to be slaves. So long as we believe a lie, we think we're going to vote our way out of this. So long as we believe a lie, we're going to think black men turn on black women and black women turn on black men. That ain't happen. They just promote that. That's what they push in social media. That's just a handful of corrupt Negroes. I ain't going to even call them Israelites. That's just a small portion of corrupt Negroes. Most black men still marry black women, and most black women still marry black men. Don't even get it twisted, even though they're trying to change it. They want you to believe that it's a trend so that you could get on that trend because black men aren't no good and black women aren't no good and they need to go marry white folks. They need to go marry Asians because they can't even take care of each other. The men can't provide for the women. The women are educated. The black men aren't. When the black men still make a ton of money even when they don't have an education. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying all of them. Some in jail. But that's by design. But the only way we're going to get out of jail, the only way we're going to get out of jail is to come out from among them and be ye separate. I told y'all, we got to be separate. Can you imagine if all the black folks, I'm not just talking about the awakened Israelites. Can you imagine if all the black folks say, you know what, we're not participating in the system no more? We're not voting anymore. Because you know what voting does? You want me to throw some facts at you right quick? You know what voting does? Voting is you participating in your own deception. Voting is you giving permission for the enemy to rule over you. Voting is you making a vow. Come on now. Voting is you bowing the knee to a different God. Oh, yeah. Voting is a covenant. That's right. You making a contract. You making a vow to some other deity that they can rule over you. Don't get it twisted. That's why the Most High said anybody that's going to be put over you going to be of your own people, your own tribe. Some of y'all participating in voting, and that's why we still enslaved. Because you made a vow to another God, the God of voting, the God of this nation. Can we say Lady Liberty? Some of y'all are participating in witchcraft. Some of y'all participating in your own deception, and what? You don't even know it. You don't even know it. You took a vow. But you're going to get mad at me because I tell you the truth. You making a solemn promise. That's what voting is. You're making a dedication to something or someone. That's what voting is. Well, my ancestors died so I can vote. Yeah, to make a vow to another God. To make a vow to another God. That's what you're doing. Woe to the obstinate children, declares Yahuwah, to those who carry out plans that are not mine, forming an alliance, but not by my spirit, heaping sin upon sin, who go down to Egypt without consulting me, who's voting on things without consulting me, who look to the Pharaoh for protection, who go to the government and not coming to me, who go to Egypt for refuge instead of coming to me for protection. You go vote and nothing changed. Why? Because you're complicit in your own destruction. You're complicit in your own destruction. And I don't care who disagrees with me. I don't care if your mores disagree with me. I don't care if your pastor disagree with me. I don't care if all the churches disagree with me. You are participating in your own destruction. Has voting changed anything for you? Did it ever change anything? Did you ever get what you want by voting? Well, all you ever got was captivity, and you keep getting the same thing. More captivity, more deception. But I guarantee you, if you say, I'm not participating in the matrix no more, you might get free. But there's always an Agent Smith. There's always an Agent Smith who's going to be the wrench thrown into your engine and cause everything to fail. And that's why Negroes can never come together. That's why we can never unite, because it's by design. Oh, yeah. We under a spell. We just didn't know what spells were. It's words that change your thinking. It's, can we say, programming? We're like that Tesla bot, that Optimus bot that Elon Musk made, right? It's programmed by the white man. We programmed by the white man. We're programmed through books, television, movies, radio, social media. But we're not programmed by the word of Yahuwah. We got to reprogram our minds, because you're in a deception. The only way is to step away and say, you know what? I don't know anything but Yeshua and him crucified. I don't know nothing else about that. I don't know about politics. I don't know about the president and the Senate and the Congress. I don't know about the governorship. I don't know nothing but Christ and him crucified. I don't know nothing else. That's the only way out. Come out from among them. That's what the Most High said. And be ye separate, and I will receive you unto myself. But y'all want to stay in it. Y'all want to stay in the matrix. And the Most High said, come out and be ye separate. But no, you're extreme. Y'all already know ain't nobody love us. Ain't nobody love us. These people don't love us. Don't tell me nothing else. The Gentiles don't love us. Only the Most High love us. Half of us don't love us. We are a pitiful people under a curse because we rejected our Elohim. We are a pitiful people caught up in deception. And when people tell you you're caught up in deception, you gaslight us. You make videos about us. You don't research. You don't validate. You don't go do your own studies. You don't do your own research. You don't go look at the history. You can't figure out the patterns. You believe what people tell you. Yes, we're Native American Indians. Yes, this is our home. Yes, America's our home. No, it's not. But when we come and tell you, here's the evidence that they lying, y'all ignore us. Here's the evidence they're telling half truths. Oh, y'all, he don't know what he talking about. Oh, Jacoba's intelligent, but you either intelligent or you're not. Jacoba's intelligent, but I know I'm intelligent. You ain't got to tell me I'm intelligent. But I'm an intelligent person led by the Spirit of the Most High. I'm an intelligent person that believes in the truth because I believe the only way out is by truth. I believe the only way out is by serving Yahuwah. I believe the only way out is by serving Yeshua because we are a pitiful people. We are under their control and under their foot and manipulated like a puppet. Look at our women today, the young ones. I ain't talking about the older ones. Look how they dress. They all dress alike. They all tattooed up. A lot of them, all of them sleep around. Baby daddies, baby mama drama. Why? Because they got agents who promoted that in Hollywood. They got agents who promoted that in entertainment. Have you not watched our people over the years and see how they've changed? How they went from like godly, righteous women to unrighteous women and godly, righteous men and fathers of their family to unrighteous men. Half of them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Y'all know what I'm saying. The idea of masculinity, the epitome of masculinity was the black man. And now what's the image of the black man? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Black women were the epitome of the greatest mother on earth who take care of all her kids and feed them even though she in poverty. The black woman took care of her kids and their children. The black woman took care of her children and they became what? Teachers and lawyers and doctors. And guess what? Now what? What are the image of them now? They make y'all look like 304s. Why? Because we part of their system. We need to separate. Come out from among them and be ye separate. We not getting out of this until we separate. Don't get it twisted. They need to see a difference. Oh, you must be one of them Israelites. You don't go to church on Sundays. You must be one of them Israelites. You don't eat pork. You must be one of them Israelites. You don't celebrate Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. You must be one of them Israelites. You don't vote. You must be one of them Israelites. Come out from among them and be ye separate. They need to see the distinction. They need to see the difference. You don't go clubbing? Oh, you must be one of them Israelites. You don't believe in the alphabets? Oh, you must be one of them Israelites. Oh, yeah, we different. We need to make a split. We need to separate from among them. Come out from among them and be ye separate. That's what the Most High said. That's what we got to do. Y'all want to leave here? Y'all want to go on that Exodus? Y'all want the Most High to get us out of here? Be separate. Don't listen to some of these pastors who say they're Israelites and tell you we Native American Indians. Don't listen to these mores who tell you we Native American Indians. I know this not a teaching that everybody gonna like. Because truth gonna separate you. The Most High said he gonna try us and he gonna test us. He want us to separate from this world system, but y'all want to stay a part of it. Y'all want to say that us casting a vote still matters. It never did matter. You ain't never got nothing with casting a vote, but y'all brainwashed. You keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Somebody make it make sense. We ain't getting out of this until we come together and stay together and love one another. And guess what? Identify as Israelites. And don't include everybody in our barbecues. Don't include everybody in our worship ceremonies. Because we separate. We belong to the Most High. We're chosen. Don't include everybody in everything we do in all our messages. Oh, guess what? They believe we Israel. Bring them in. No. We got to fix us first. When we fix, then everybody else could come in. When we back in the land, when we're united, everybody else could join in. Until then, we got to fix us. Well, fam, that's all I got. I'm getting tired, but here's the thing. We are unique people. We are called and separated for the Most High. And if you believe that, then you're going to stop participating in this system. If you believe that, you're going to love one another. If you believe that, you're going to follow that Torah. If you believe that, you're not going to believe every stat and statistics that they give you. If you believe that, you're going to use common sense and understand there's no way we 13% of this population been here for 4 centuries. Impossible. They're lying. So, fam, that's all I got. If you want to support us, you can. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can support us by becoming a patron, giving Cash App. I know you tired like I am. I know you want this exodus. And guess what? It's not going to happen until we line up with the Most High. It's not going to happen until we come out from among them. Love y'all.